Hey everybody. Can I have your attention? Can everybody please find their seats here? All right. So thank you so much for coming. My name is Edward, and I'm going to be helping with logistics and other stuff that comes up throughout the course of the event. It's a real honor and a pleasure to be here with you today. And for me, it's been really delightful to get to watch a seal over the last few years really grow and transform and transition into this new and exciting work that we're here happy to offer you today. Please just sit anywhere you feel comfortable as you're doing. And if you're choosing to lie down, we have a request to lie with your head actually facing forward as opposed to your feet. And it's also preferred that everybody be sort of sitting in their own space rather than kind of cuddling or holding each other during the session. So all the work that we do here today is supported by donations like for this event, as well as donations for the work that he does. There's three parts of his work. One is working with groups like this. The other is working with leaders from around the world one-on-one, and then additionally work on helping with the alignment and the subtle energy systems of land in various places on Earth. And especially challenged regions and war-torn regions in places where the land needs a lot of support as well as the people. And we would love any support with that work, and we can be happy to tell you more about that. The work that Asil does here has evolved out of a number of different spiritual traditions he's been a part of over the last 18 years. And just 4 years ago, he had a particularly strong spiritual experience that opened up this connection that today he refers to as the channel. And this connection enables him to both bring in powerful energy and wisdom during these sessions that he will kind of bring into the room. And through this connection, there's energy that comes into the space to establish a safe container and an environment to do this alignment work. And this space will also allow you to go deeper into your meditation, potentially if you're in a space for it, to start to receive information as well yourself. And it may come in words or visions or messages. The process for a seal, you will see soon, to get into the trance will include some spontaneous movements of his body and his hands, and sometimes shaking of the body, fast breathing, and sometimes his eyes might roll back into his head. All of this is normal, and you should know that he's fine, he's safe, and there's nothing wrong, and he's very comfortable. And his Asil sort of everyday consciousness is also always available to him while he's channeling, and he can stop the embodiment and is present of himself in the room at all times, and can bring himself back if he needs to. The channel is going to bring through guides that will specifically introduce themselves with what they say, the names that humanity has given them. And you might recognize some of the names they use as angels or archangels, but interestingly enough, they actually never refer to themselves as such. And it's fascinating if you kind of read some of the transcripts, the information they've shared suggests that they're much older than humanity or even Earth itself. So Asil has been sharing this work here in the Bay Area and through live streams to communities all around the world in dozens of countries across Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and yeah, we're happy you're here. So let's see here. So there's generally two parts to every session. So once the energy field is established, there will be a kind of group energetic alignment that he'll do from here. And then he may also walk around and do some individual hands-on work. He may get to a few people, he may get to everybody, but we'll see just what's moving through. And for folks on the live stream, this part might take, the healing part might take as long as an hour. So just be aware that if you see him walking around the room, he's definitely not done, and there's more to come. The channeling part comes afterward, where he will speak the wisdom into the space that is appropriate for the room. And then while you're in the healing session, you can, if you're called to, the recommendation is first to set an intention to be open to receive the work. If you'd like to set an intention to bring loved ones into the space as well, you can do that, and they can receive some of the benefits that are here. And perhaps there are specific things that you're working on or working through, old wounds or emotions that no longer serve, and you can set an intention that those would be released. While someone else is receiving a healing or hands-on healing, or if someone has strong emotions that are coming up, do what you can to really stick with your own process rather than kind of craning your neck to see somebody who's emoting or having a strong experience. And additionally, just because a seal might be over on one side of the room, that doesn't mean that there aren't strong processes that are actually working on your own system at that same time. And so just stay with your own experience. As the healing, as I mentioned, as the healing portion is complete, the spoken transmission will start, and often Emmanuel will come into the room and through Asil's body to share this wisdom. And after this spoken transmission, often they will invite questions from all of you. And so if you'd like to ask a question, get my attention, just by raising your hand. And I'll walk over to you with the microphone, and then you can ask your question. Additionally, we will be taking questions from folks on the live stream, and there's someone on the live stream chat who can clarify how to do that, how to ask questions, and mostly you just type them into the chat, and some of the questions will get answered. We won't be able to get to everybody's question. And when asking questions, try to make your question as succinct as possible. The guides have access to pretty extraordinary amounts of information about you, about everything, and so they don't necessarily need a big preamble or a big story to kind of meet your question in a very profound way. And questions that are very kind of personal in nature, something like, should I move to a new apartment, or should I get a different job, or things like that, may not get the most satisfying answers. So the guides' answers in a large group setting like this with a live stream are very sort of transpersonal in nature, and the answers are calibrated to benefit the people, all of the people watching. Additionally, while you're in this meditative state, you may find that your own questions are actually answered if you ask them to yourself silently. We are recording audio and video, and we will give you a transcript following the event, and we ask that everybody actually turn off their cell phones completely, not just silent or not just airplane, but all the way off. And please don't do your own recordings of the session. So this session will be held in silence, and we ask you to stay silent throughout the duration of the program, and do stay in the room until the end of the session, especially during the healing part. If you need to use the bathroom, do what you can to avoid using the bathroom during the healing portion, so that the container stays tight and tidy. A seal often says it's almost like someone sort of leaves the operating room in the middle of a surgery. We don't want to do that. So the bathrooms, as you may know, are through those glass doors and to the left. And I'll say, as the session is over, I'll have a couple of closing remarks, but don't fall immediately into chit-chat or disperse the energy that's been cultivated. Let it settle and be really respectful of the other processes that other people might be in. Does anyone have any questions before we get started? Okay, perfect. So thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you to Andreas and the 906 World team for making this possible to be here. And we really appreciate it. And thank you to all of you for coming.
I have a marker where to sit. Good morning, everyone. Sunday morning in a church. Different. I want to thank Pavel and this incredible venue to allow us to do this work here. Believe it or not, it's one of the hardest things to find a good venue when you're in this line of work. I want to thank you for making the time for yourself to be here. It's quite, it takes reorganization of the mind and of the heart to make it to something like this. So this becomes the priority in this current moment for you. So I want to congratulate you for that. I know for some of you it's been a priority for a long time, and some of you are long-time practitioners. So thank you for continuing the journey and deepening it together. If there is anything I could add to what Edward said, it would be, when you thought you have already surrendered yourself in the moment to presence, there is always a deeper layer of surrender. And I want you to find that deeper layer of surrender. I want you to try out what are the things that are still holding on, that are maybe unconscious or subconscious. And I want you to listen to the silence that we are able to create here, the silence between the silences, and so on. Thank you. And see you in a while. Greetings. I'm Raphael. The work that you will receive today is a small step in your own development, a development that is natural and integral for all existing human beings. The evolution of human consciousness while in human existence an awakening process, an evolutionary process. You have seen the many ways this process has started for you. The many ways it has called and adjusted your life. Often, due to the fact that the voice was not listened or acted upon, the changes of your environment made it more clear. Important lessons and completions must occur in your life. Only upon these completions can you find the silence and the opening in your being to receive. You are divine individuals, divine beings, by nature, by creation. As part of your divine experience, evolution of your consciousness is the most important. All other experiences support the evolution of your consciousness. Our work today and continuously with humankind is to find the alignments where alignments are missed, is to bring flow where stagnation has ruled. These interventions are meant to be and intended to be support for your evolution. Thank you for your trust. Thank you. My work is complete. Greetings. I am Emmanuel. In wonder, you arrive in this lifetime with all its possibilities, the emotions, the roller coasters, the benefits, the gifts, and the difficult times, equally important. Yet an underlying voice, a voice that can only deeply heard when the mind and the heart is silent, when all emotions have been expressed, all memories have been converted into wisdom. An underlying constant voice, a call for awakening, a desire of your soul to find liberation. Your awakening process a journey with many barriers and complications, often forgotten to be the goal in the first place. Many roads leave, many roads take you to the same top, the same goal of evolution. In that sense, you are never truly lost. Some roads will show to have more barriers and complications, all equal to provide learning and growth. When you stop, the process stops. It requires a conscious effort and free will to confront the aspects of your being that require transformation. It is in moments like these some of these barriers will come to surface, to be processed. With every completion, you will find new space in your mind and in your heart. You will find new resources of energy that will move you in ways that you have not experienced before. This adjustment is a small token for you, a reminder to understand the importance of this journey, that you are the master of your life. With attention and intention, you can make all the steps required to overcome all barriers that are in your reality. Some of these learnings might take longer to complete. Some learnings take generations to complete. And some learnings are not your responsibility to complete. To understand the discernment within and the distinction of your mind and of your heart and your soul's desire. This is for you to master. Remember the importance of silence. The peace inside of your mind, the peace inside of your heart will affect your environment and your reality. Yet it is for you to tend that peace, to become a constant force inside of you. This is the alignment within, a foundational aspect on your self-realization journey. Thank you for listening to my words. I will now answer some of your questions.
What can I as an individual, do to bring about the healing of the collective trauma?
Please repeat.
What can I as an individual do to bring about the healing of the collective trauma?
All processes take time, especially the conversion from pain, suffering, the completion of healing, recovery, and then the full understanding of the body, the heart, and the mind to complete this entire lesson. They all operate in different time scales and in different ways, and in your ability to provide the best circumstances for this healing to occur is the key, the nourishing ground for the completion of a lesson. Sometimes it will be the environment of comfort, the environment of nature, loved ones, the exchange of energy in a relationship. All these provide for the completion of the lesson. An important aspect to finalize and truly complete is the silence you must take by yourself, and to see all perspectives of the pain, all perspectives of the recovery, and all perspectives of the wisdom gained. Thank you for your question.
Do you have a message for the children of the world?
Please repeat.
Do you have a message for the children of the world?
I apologize, I cannot understand.
Do you have a message for the children of the world?
The message for the new generations is clear. They bring a new form of presence and assistance through their participation in the lives of those that make decisions, in lives of those that take actions. This will be the first wave of their participation. It will be the frequency and their presence that they bring, the way they listen, the way they observe, will be unique to the generations that have been before. Their presence alone will start to shift decisions and actions of the current generations. Even though the future might look complicated due to the changing circumstances of the environment and the realities of society, the responsibility of the guardians that you are for the new generations is to provide them the moments of safety, understanding, and connection. And it is moment by moment that you provide this environment to fuel the coming generations. They will be the ones to take over all the decisions that have been made before. all the lessons that have not been completed, all the questions that were left unanswered. Yet with your assistance, they will have an entire different base to operate from and to receive the challenges ahead. Thank you for your question.
Women throughout eons have not been allowed to have our voice and also to have financial protection and security. It's so embedded, through eons. What is your advice for women to be able to let go of that is so ingrained in our subconscious and in our unconscious?
Any type of societally and relationally developed conditions that provide the environment for certain imprints is subject to change. And you have witnessed this change. It starts with the individual. It starts with the individual understanding what is in balance and what is not. What is providing growth, what is not. What is providing alignment and what is not. Harmony is sought out through all nature. And so within, it starts. And it starts to affect all those decisions made outside, in collaboration with those that have listened and heard the call for alignment within. This includes gender-specific problems of this society, social economic problems, and racial problems equally. All of these will start to change with the rising of the change within. Old structures will not hold against the change that has started within all those live in those structures. For the individual to complete the lessons and to fully let go, it will be your responsibility to understand that only imprints of the past generations are not yours, that you are redefined at every moment in your presence, that you carry the unlimited potential of creation. This realization will set you free. Thank you for your question.
Hi. I currently engage practices from several traditions, including mystical Judaism, Diamond Approach, Buddhism, and Kundalini Yoga. I'm wondering, is it beneficial to continue to engage practices that call me from different paths, or is it more beneficial to focus on one?
And the practices of the past have served an important purpose of bringing quiet to the mind and to the heart. A written formula that can be repeated more than once, many generations, over and over. And while these practices will provide an important foundation to follow, they must not be perceived as a limiting belief. A foundation for something greater to arise in the change of times that is apparent, the increase of energy and frequency that will be available on this plane will surpass the understanding of the past generations. Practices will become irrelevant at that point. Until then, finding an important balance inside, an alignment, and a strong foundation of your body, your mind, and your heart is a critical aspect of your health, and highly recommended. Your internal compass, your internal alignment will assist you in making the decisions to choose which direction, how long, and how deep. But you must take the time to listen and to act accordingly. Thank you for your question.
How do I and others bring more spirituality and our full selves to the world of work?
Please repeat.
How do I and others bring more spirituality and our full authentic self into the world of work?
It will start with your presence, deepening your understanding of your connection, deepening understanding of all the aspects of your being that have not been completed in learning, in wisdom. All this transformation will provide a stronger balance within and a stronger presence. This will change you and all those around you. Through vibration and frequency that you emit, you will constantly start to impact those around you. When a strong alignment has been found inside, some of you will start to understand a deeper calling to assist all those others seeking alignment, seeking completion, seeking expression. This is a choice to be made by you when you have found a strong balance and foundation already. And the call inside is louder than any other call of your heart or your mind. The transformation of the surroundings by even a single individual can be significant. The focus will be first internal. The completions will start external change. And change is the only way forward. Thank you for your question.
What is your interpretation of justice, and how does one ethically and rightfully seek it?
A complicated answer to a complicated question. Justice is determined in the moment by the society and the reality of that circumstance. It is entirely created by the surroundings that require this evaluation in order to survive. Mentally, emotionally, physically, or spiritually. Some of these systems have been created without the consideration of change, the consideration of change of all of these aspects. Which elements of survival are truly in danger or in question? By which values is justice served? And do the values change over time as the consciousness of the collective evolves? And how are changes overseen in the first place? There is no single right answer to your question. In our perspective, the creation that has gifted all of you with individual lives has provided with all potentialities in every single aspect and all the ways the human mind, the heart and consciousness can make decisions for themselves and in a collective. Now, this might not always be true for the individual in a certain circumstance, or for certain collectives in a specific time frame or environment. Yet it is the base truth for all of existence on this plane. Our perspectives on justice therefore remain irrelevant to give you the full potential and unlimited exploration to find the right balance between consciousness, the mind, the heart, and the actions taken, the decisions made, and the evaluations, like justice, executed. Thank you for your question.
What does the role of shame play in the development of our culture, and how can large groups of people complete this emotional experience?
Please repeat.
what is the role of shame in the development of our culture? And how can large groups of people complete this emotional experience?
Similar to all experiences that are available in the human body, emotions carry an instrumental aspect of it. Shame is an emotion that is triggered by the expectations and the judgments of the environment. Emotions, if not completed, are stored like memories until they are fully expressed and completed as a learning opportunity for you. The current situation of all of mankind, unlimited sources of emotions unexpressed, including shame and guilt, anger and sadness, waiting to be completed, waiting to be seen, uncovered, understood, and listened to. The only way is for, first, the individual to make the effort to look inside, to bring the courage to let these aspects that have been limiting come to surface, to find the right environments with other individuals or alone to complete the expression, the understanding of the emotion itself. Incomplete learnings will continue in the next generation. It always has been. It always will be. Some of your learnings will include the completions of many generations before you. You are the current version of all of these incomplete lessons. You are the one to complete and end cycles. This is a responsibility you must understand and willingly take on. And you will find freedom for yourself and all the generations before you, all the generations that will come after you, as a collective gift from you. Thank you for your question.
What is the source of fear?
The emotion of fear underlying is survival, continuing to exist in a physical, emotional, mental and spiritually safe environment. Fears are the triggers to remind the mind of potential unsafe environments. Now, while this is a function of the mind, in many cases, it can become a compulsion. Can become an automatic reaction to the environment created by society, and to the training and education that has been provided, and to the beliefs that have been infused rather than learned. Fears translate as well from one generation to another, from one ideology to another. The underlying source of fear is function to survive. Yet for you to determine if it's truly survival, and how many aspects of that triggered fear are truly drained, aspects of the subconscious and unconscious mind, aspects of emotions of past trauma. These reflections will start to allow you to loosen this connection to the trigger of fear as a function of survival. Thank you for your question.
Can you speak to humans' relationship with Earth, climate change, and the future of life on Earth?
While humanity is growing, the earth will start to become unsustainable to carry all life. This is the way it is projected. And all lines of probability arrive in the same place. Yet the time is not set. It is for you to make the changes as society to extend life as long as possible, and to allow this time frame to fully complete the self-realization of the individual and the self-realization of the collective. This is the key. The human experience itself, this place that you call home, Earth, has been merely a place of incubation and a temporary home until a certain growth stage of your consciousness is completed. Yet it is the only home that you have ever understood or perceived. This is why time is the most important resource for all of individuals to find the journey inside the self-realization process must complete for all of you. This will bring many of the answers that are sought It will change the behaviors that are destructive, and it will bring alignment and harmony in ways that humanity has not seen before. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. From the live stream, Vanessa asks, if a healer trains with different modalities, does this get confusing for the energy field as each modality uses different frequencies or light codes? Is it better to stick to one type of energy healing modality?
An individual that has sought and deeply understood themselves, found balance inside and harmony in their being, will understand which tools and mechanisms to use. The decisions are made for them, not by them. In general, you will see simpler will be better. Thank you for your question.
How do we harmonize complexity, such as the complexity in organizations and cities?
Every piece of the organization must be understood. Every behaviors that are possible within the organization must be understood. The responsibilities of every piece of the organization must be understood. A common goal of the organization must be understood. Functions and to allow communication throughout the entire organization must be established. And the agreement for the benefit of all aspects of the organization must be established, communicated, and continuously reinforced. This will allow complex structures to function, similar to your physical body. And while there are aspects of it continuously adjusting and improving, it provides a continuous living experience to you. With the right maintenance and the right input, it will provide an experience for the greater good of the entire organization and its environment even further. Understanding the time frame and the ultimate goal of the organization, the impact of all of society and existence of human consciousness must be established, communicated, and continuously reinforced. Thank you for your question.
Psychedelic medicines are being developed for use in the Western medical system.
Please repeat.
Psychedelic medicines are being developed for use in the Western medical system. My question is it important to keep the shaman or the healer with these medicines as they are developed in order to have optimum benefit for humanity?
The use of openings through the plants and medicines provided on this plane has been understood for certain societies for many generations. Specialists that have become one in their consciousness with this opening, and the provider of the opening, the consciousness of the plant or the animal. This connection goes beyond the ability to express in words, to create documents and communication about. Transference will not be easy. To function in its most optimal way, the recommendation is always to bring those that have understood the opening and can provide safe guidance through these openings to be part of the growth process of the individual. All other explorations by individuals, by themselves, are similar to all experiences in life. No guarantees given. Thank you for your question.
What is your interpretation of heaven and hell?
It is not our position to interpret the words of those that have provided you with their perspectives and their understanding of existence. Planes exist in many different variations, often operated by frequency and vibration, some of which are in material and often in non-material existence. These planes provide different functions, yet all of them together provide the perfect balance. Light and dark, creation and destruction, and balance, and to provide for all of existence. One could understand this meaning of hell to be all planes of lower vibrations, and heaven, planes of higher frequency. Yet, we refrain from the understanding of judgment, as all is required and to create the perfect balance in existence. Thank you for your question.
How does one awaken will?
Please repeat.
How does one awaken will?
Will is constant and awake as long as you're alive. All aspects of your being, breathing and operating through the will of consciousness, through the will of creation. The will of the mind and the will of the heart are different matters, complex and often uncovered with incomplete lessons, emotions. Often busy, continuously deciding to decide. Will, on a daily basis, will fatigue just like the body. The mind and the heart require rest, require continuous maintenance, so that will can recharge. Often will be used at the first sight, at the first decisions, at the first priorities that are required to be made. Difficult emotional experiences will require will to compensate for, to suppress. As you can see, most of will is lost in compensation of thoughts, in compensation of unexpressed emotions, and continuous movement and structures that are not beneficial to you. Finding liberation will be by reducing, first, your thoughts. Second, understanding all the emotions unexpressed and completing the learnings that need to be completed. This will provide a newly found well of will. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Can you offer guidance on how we can find silence of the mind and silence of the heart to discover our true nature?
In moments like these, where there is no other objective than to be present, thoughts and emotions will arise, emotions that require to be completed, and thoughts that require to be released, aspects of the body that require to be heard. All of these must be tended first. As they have not been intended before. The first experiences of trying to find silence will be difficult. They will be filled with additional things to do, additional things to feel. Yet continuously operating and observing these thoughts and emotions, eventually not following these emotions and thoughts, and distancing yourself as an observer from the being that you are, further and further out, until you start to see perspectives of yourself from the perspective of existence. This is a process that might take some time, yet will bring the benefits that you seek in your evolution process. Thank you for your question. Thank you for your time and listening to my words. May this work and the time we have spent together benefit you in the most possible ways and impact the lives of those around you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this experience. There's nothing I can add to it, really. Edward, do you have things to add? You go.
So everybody, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being here. And as we said, take it easy today. If you can kind of take the rest of the day off and rest a little bit, that's probably easiest or most appropriate. And feel free to stay in this room, in this field, in this space as long as you like. And we really encourage you to not dive right into kind of chatter with other people, and be mindful of who wants to be engaged in conversation and who's maybe still in a process. In a little while, we'll send an email out to all of you with the transcript of today's channeling.
No, I think the transcript will take us some time.
It's in a little while. It's not a real, it's kind of like an accordion.
The post-care, right?
Yeah. We'll also send it very shortly.
I'm micromanaging, sorry. I apologize.
No, it's all great.
You see, it's me, I'm back.
Very, very shortly, within seconds, we're going to send you a post-care email. I may have just sent it, I don't know. And later, perhaps days later, we'll send you a transcript. And the recording of the live stream video will be available online. A lot of us, or a lot of folks ask, how can we help? Just so tell your friends about this. Basically, we've been asked by the channel to share it with as many people as we can. And obviously it's not necessarily something that's easy to explain to people, but if you can bring your friends next time we're here in January.
I still can't explain it to my parents.
Yeah, that would be great. As we mentioned, this is just one piece of the work that we do and ASEAL does. We also do travel to sacred sites and sites of global trauma to do energy alignment work with the land. Any donations to the 501c3 would help us with our upcoming tour to continue the work in the Middle East that we've been doing in Syria, Lebanon, Iran, Israel, Palestine, and a number of other places. It's also helpful if you like our page on Facebook, and also the venue really appreciates getting some love too on Facebook, and a testimonial on Google. They've been so kind as to make this available as a donation to us, and it's a really extraordinary gift to get to be here. And so thank you, Pavel, and the 906 World crew. And any feedback that you have for us, you can share with us at an email address, feedback@ascension.one. And we'd be happy to hear from you. Anything else, Cecile? All right.
I love
Crystal,
you, Edward.
Yeah. 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 Crystal, I don't know if everyone heard, testimonials are really helpful for us, be they written or in video format. And if you feel called or moved to offer that would be really great. Any questions or anything? Okay.
So one more thing to add is the work continues. Like, it really is very active in the next couple days, even like the entire week. And just be extra mindful of stressful situations or interactions. You know, don't disperse the energy that has been created and the peace and harmony that has been created here in unnecessary interactions. So be mindful of how you're spending your energy and your will. And, you know, sleep a lot. This is the one thing that we have been getting from a lot of people. Some of them sleep days in a row. They wake up really fresh.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Asil. And thank you, Zach. And thank you, all the team.
And thank you to all the people that joined in from the live stream, right?
Oh, yeah.
All around the world.
Yeah. Perfect. Thanks,
Thank you so
everybody.
much.